So, welcome to another episode of Getting Real in the Field, where we talk about all the things that you suck at, which is follow up, making phone calls, calling your leads, making notes, doing the things, all the grunt work and all the things that you hate to do. And we're going to help try to make it simple for you. And today we have a special episode. And of course, we've got the main man over here, Khek Teh. And then you just got me, JP Fluellen, and we're gonna
come on. You're the man. I don't have a beard like yours, man.
Hey, man, it's a lot of work to work on this guy right here, man. I got to get up way early, so early that even there's a woolly mammoth out there that's jealous. I'm just telling you right now.
I'm jealous. Look at me.
There's a Wookiee somewhere on a Star Wars cruiser, looking down and saying, that's a good looking beard right there. So today we've got a special episode. We're going to talk about our future predictions for 2022, kind of what we think of what trends we're going to see in 2022. Because I think it's all about you in 2022, so you need to focus on your business. And I think that we're going to see, especially I think physical events, in-person events are going to be huge next year. So, as far as, whether it's going to some sort of training or boot camp or how to hire, how to fire, how to, 10x your business, how to do agent attraction, recruiting, all that kind of stuff. I think you're going to see just about any kind of physical event you can possibly think of. And I think the Zoom stuff is going to continue as well. So I think we're going to see two parallel paths. I don't think
your prediction, right? You're sharing the predictions, right?
Yes, these are my predictions. The Zoom train is not going to end, as much as we all, really love spending most of our time looking at ourselves in front of a camera. So I think that airline prices are going to go down a bit because they're going to be busier. And so that should stabilize, I think. I also think real estate prices are still going to continue to go up.
Really?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Why?
Because the shortage of people working.
Yeah.
So you're going to see a lot of movement of people moving out of coastal areas still and moving inland. And where I'm at in the Midwest, I think that we're going to continue to see prices rise. I think coastal prices will probably stabilize a bit, but I don't see them going down much, just because I feel like we still have a shortage of homes available.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. You and I just talked a few minutes before we started the show. So, you shared with me, interest rates are going to go up high, right? It was just recently announced. So we should expect interest rates to go up, right? And I think that with that going up, it's going to slow the market down a little bit. And it's not a bad thing, right? I don't think it's a bad thing. It's going to slow it down so that it's a little bit more balanced. So far, it's been a seller's market for the past year and a half. You agree? And I do think that, with the interest rates going up, it's going to slow down. And then it's going to start the buyers are going to kind of be a little bit more choosy and more wary of what they can buy or what they can afford. And so, it won't be as crazy as it has been within the last 2 years. And I already start seeing the trends all across the country with the agents that I've been talking to as well, too. I don't know if you've seen that yourself, too.
Starting in probably August, September, the frequency of multiple offer scenarios decreased significantly.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're going to see, I think it's it's going to follow the same cycle of real estate like we've always seen over year, where it slows that down a little bit in the fall and in the winter, picks back up in the spring, and then it gets just insane over the summer. And we're going to see that again. I still think that this summer we're going to see multiple offers again, probably just as crazy as we did last summer.
Really? Prediction?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we are going on the record right now. I think the moratorium on foreclosures are going to
Mm.
force a lot of people to sell their homes. Do you see
So,
that or not?
so here's my theory on moratoriums, right? So I don't think banks are dumb. They understand that it doesn't make sense to foreclose on a property. It makes more sense for them to slowly, like, because in 2008, 2009, 2010, we saw a lot of foreclosures on the market because
Yep.
a lot of these homes were over leveraged. So there wasn't enough value in the property to make up for what it was sold for.
Fully.
So it made sense at
Yep.
that time, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
so they flooded the market with a ton of foreclosures because they needed to get rid of them. Because I believe there's probably somebody listening that understands this a little bit better than I do. But as far as my understanding is that banks are not in the business of owning property, and they're not supposed to own property as a result of their lending guidelines. So they needed to move them, right? So, but because they can shelter their risk under the moratorium problem, and then they can, slowly throw out their foreclosed properties over a longer period of time. And so they'll probably end up making money on these properties, or at least cover most of, or if not all of, the debt service. And so they don't want to lose. And it makes more sense for them to just slowly put these foreclosures in the market rather than flooding the market with a bunch of property. Because, and here's the other thing too, is a lot of these investor gurus out there are talking about this right now. They're saying, oh, just bank up your cash, just keep banking up your cash, because there's going to be a thing that's going to happen, and you're going to make a lot of money if you just set yourself up for success. Well, the banks already know that this is happening, and they're not dumb, right?
Yep.
So they're not going to artificially create another economic problem, which is then, creating a bunch of millionaires overnight. It was kind of like this issue with the Iraqi dinar. I don't know if you've heard about this,
No.
but so back
Educate us, man.
Okay. So during Desert Storm, which lasted about 4 months, the Kuwaiti dollar was way down, way down. And then what happened is after the war, like, Kuwait became this like mega rich, ultra rich country as a result of Desert Storm. And the dollar like quadrupled in value just like virtually overnight. So what they thought was going to happen with the Iraqi dinar was that, because as a result of Operation Iraqi Freedom, that their dollar was going to do the same thing. So a lot of American soldiers were investing in the Iraqi dollar.
Really?
Yeah, no joke. Look it up. And it's actually now put down as like the biggest like Forex scam on the planet, with people investing in that.
Wait. Are you talking about Bitcoin? No, I'm just kidding.
No, Forex is foreign exchange, the foreign exchange dollars.
I know.
I only stay in my lane. I don't go any places I don't know.
Fair,
I can speak intelligent about.
By the way, you guys are hearing an economics discussion tonight here. This is so interesting. This is so interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and trust me, I fell into the same camp, and because it was worth like 1,000 to 1 was like what the Iraqi dinar was worth. Like it was like 1,000 to 1.
Wow.
And so what they were hoping was that, it was going to 10x its value as a result of it. Well, it didn't do anything. Actually, they ended up just taking Saddam's face off of the dollars and putting somebody else on there. and the money is virtually it's still worthless. It's worth less. The dollar is worth less than the paper it's printed on.
Okay.
Which is crazy. So anyways, I don't even know where I was going with that.
We're talking about in terms of the dollar devaluing, or with the real estate. Coming back to real estate, you were talking in terms of
yeah, foreclosures. So
foreclosures. That's right.
essentially, like, you don't want to create a self-fulfilling prophecy is what I'm talking about here. So you don't want to feed the beast that's already out there, because otherwise you're basically playing into the hands of their own, they're putting it out there in existence. And then if the banks play into their hands, then all of the, investor gurus will see, told you so. And then all these guys are going to make, millions of dollars overnight because they followed all these gurus out there that said, just stack your cash and then buy when all the foreclosures hit the market. Well, I don't think that that's going to happen. Just like I don't think that the Fed is going to be able to hold on to a higher interest rate for very long.
Okay. So you think that, okay, so let's kind of put this all in perspective, right? You think that the interest rates will go up, and I 100% agree with that because you already said that, but you think that they're going to drop down. Okay. So your perspective is that it will be a crazy year again, just as busy as 2021.
It's going to be just as busy for a couple of reasons. One is once the consumer starts seeing the interest rate creep, they're going to go in until it reaches a certain threshold. And then once it reaches that threshold, they're going to back out of the system.
Okay. So my prediction is slightly more moderate. I think that the interest rates will go up, will go down, and adjust. I think I agree with you that they will, but I don't think it will be as, but I think that the market will be a little bit more moderate as well too. I don't think it would be as crazy as this year for a couple reasons too. The moratorium will come down, will unleash, and then some people who cannot afford it will cash out. It will not be as bad as like 2008, where we were over leveraged and everything just collapsed like a house of cards, right? So people will sell, but they will not be selling like, as crazy as they were for short sales and stuff like that, like back in 2008. So I guess, like, I'm kind of curious from your perspective, since you've been around in real estate for a long time, what's a real estate agent supposed to do for next year? How should they prepare in your scenario and the scenario that I'm talking about too?
Sure. So, I think a real estate agent, in order to prepare for this, really needs to be more of an expert than they probably ever have. Because before, it was like you get a license. There's so many buyers out there.
Yep.
Like you don't really need to know anything. As long as you've got a pulse, the buyer's got a pulse, and there's a house for sale. Like that's really what happens. But what happens in a shifting market is that, they didn't have to learn how to market. They didn't have to learn how to lead gen. They were relying so much on their brokerage and floor time and open houses. Well, actually, they didn't really rely on open houses. They were just relying on the phone ringing organically.
Yeah.
In a lot of cases. And, if you had a profile out there, they were going to find you because so you didn't have to learn how to market. But then what happens is when you start to see a shifting market is that you didn't learn the skills to create a sustainable business. And so now you've got to shift your strategy. And if you're not setting aside a budget in order to lead gen, then you're going to be in trouble because they're out of the game, or they can't find you now because there's not as many buyers out there.
Yeah.
So you really got to treat, and it's this kind of the same thing I've been talking about on these episodes, is that you've got to treat your business like a business. You got to spend money to make money. I don't care who you are out there. People say, oh, you don't have to spend money to make money. Well, you are. The currency of time is still spending, right?
Yeah.
So you can call it what you want, but you got to spend something. doing nothing begets nothing,
Yeah.
and so, and here's the other thing too. So if you don't learn how to be a marketer, then you're going to die.
Yeah.
So you've also, I think, in 2022, video is going to be huge, even more so than it's been in the past. They were like, well, video is the new audio. Yeah, but if your audio sucks, then your video sucks too, which Keck and I have just we had this conversation.
Yes.
I
No,
mean, you could have 4K video, but if you have one, you know, 8-bit audio, then bro, like you need to
I
call up
know.
your buddy on Fiverr and have him fix that for you.
Yeah.
So really, so what it kind of comes down to is like, you've got to create some sort of omnipresence, and something that I recently learned is that when you're hiring people, you've got to hire on this, what's called the 33% principle. And what it ultimately means is that you are one of your own employees that's part of your business, and then you need to hire two others. And the reason why you hire two others, so for every one position you have open, it's you plus two other people.
Mm.
And so then, because what ends up going to happen is that out of the two people you hire, one is eventually either going to quit or they're going to get fired.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you always got to hire on this 33% principle. So
Got it. Okay. That's why you have that 33% hat on.
yes,
Okay.
sir.
So I would agree with you. I think that even though you and I have slightly different predictions for 2022, you think that it will be crazy busy still, and I think it's going to temper down. Not in a negative market, but I think it will definitely slow down. But however, I do agree with what you just said. You've got to invest in yourself to differentiate yourself in either scenarios. You've got to do kind of like build, whether you're the old school where you want to build your spheres and reach out to them. I think that you should invest in putting marketing dollars and set aside money now and set aside budget to do marketing, because you need to stand out from other agents. Otherwise, you'll be drowning, and then there will be a mass, you know, amount of people trying to look for clients and stuff like that. And if you don't market well and you didn't master that part, you're going to be in a, you're going to be behind this curveball, right? Or behind the curve. So I 100% agree with you. You need to, if there's any word of advice of what actions to take, is to be able to kind of set aside budget and get ready to kind of start tinkering around, playing around. If you've never done marketing, you've never done lead gen, now's the time to start thinking about it and dabble in it, do a little bit and start increasing when you feel more comfortable with it. Right? You agree? Any more thoughts on that?
No, that's the trend right now.
It's a practical advice, really. I like what you said, being practical with it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, a lot of, especially newer agents, when they get into real estate, they start thinking about, like, what is my broker going to do for me?
Yeah.
How am I going to become the agent that I know that I am, by aligning myself with the right brokerage? And ultimately, the brokerage is not going to do anything for you.
You
Nothing.
are doing it yourself.
So a brokerage is just a vehicle for you to hang your license, but
Yep.
you have to be your brand. Like, people do business with people. They don't do business with brokerages.
Yes.
So that's how you're going to grow yourself, and if you're going to be, if you're going to leverage yourself to the point where, you're running a successful business, like, you got to think about this, like, okay, so I can't be everywhere. I can't do everything. I want to have a life and I want to make good money. So how are you going to do that? You're going to have to hire key people in order to become the person that you want to become in this business. You've got to have the right systems and processes in place. And you have to have the discipline to work on your business every single day.
Yeah.
And then I think the last piece is that you have to be everywhere where people are at. So obviously that's 4 key areas that you're going to have to become a master at, and then you bring people in to take over those leveraged roles.
Okay. I love
Oh,
it.
and then I think also in 2022, ancillary businesses are going to be huge. So I think a lot of agents and brokerages are going to have other businesses.
You mean like appraisal?
I'm thinking more like mortgage, title, insurance, probably home inspection, and I've even looked into starting my own plumbing and electrical companies and doing all this stuff, because I'm like, dude, these are problems that can easily be fixed because we see the problems on our end all the time, in 100% of the time, most of these issues can be fixed if these companies would just hire a secretary to answer the phones.
Yeah.
Because 99.9% of the time it's scheduling and answering the phone. Those are the 2 problems. So if you are a newly licensed real estate agent and are still doing plumbing, heating, electrical, these kinds of things, fix your problems with hiring a secretary and getting control of your calendar and scheduling. And the sky's the limit if you can solve those 2 problems.
Agreed. Yeah. No, I love it. Okay, so, very practical advice for 2022, guys.
I got one more.
Oh, one more.
One more. I think you're going to start seeing some innovative technologies in 2022.
Like what?
And one of them being trying to turn the physical real estate into NFTs. Self-executing closings.
Wow. Self-executing closings.
Meaning, so like I want to buy 123 Main Street.
Yeah.
So, beta test company number 1 says, okay, well, you want to buy 123 Main Street. I'm going to turn 123 Main Street into an NFT. So so someone's going to buy that NFT of that address.
Yeah.
And then all the closing docs are going to self-execute once you click the button.
Wow.
Because it's all crypto, right? So you fill out a form.
Yeah.
When you're getting ready to buy the property, you upload your documents into the thing, and then you hit enter, and it's all self-executes because it's all part of the NFT.
Yeah. Okay.
So you heard it here first, folks.
You heard it here, man. Enough said. Okay. Awesome. Well, that's good. That's a wrap, right, for tonight?
That is a wrap for 2021.
That's right. I can't believe it's already that.
I'll be really curious to hear this in a year from now to see if any of this crap came true. That'd be awesome.
Audience, if that's our prediction. So if you can call us out next year.
Yeah, and please make some comments. I mean, tell us your thoughts on what you guys think of what's going to happen in 2022. I think it's all about you in 2022. So, make a comment, share, like this episode if you think there's other people that have an opinion on what's going on in 2022. Would love to hear about it. Absolutely. And maybe we'll do a follow-up episode on it after the first of the year.
Yeah. And bring some guests on. Anybody who wants to be on this, come join us and hear us.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay.
Awesome. Well, how do people get a hold of you, Khek, over there at Fieldnotes?
Well, they can go to Fieldnotes.ai, or they can call me directly at 425-740-0260. And you?
Awesome. Yeah, you guys can just hit me up. You can DM me on social. You can call me 307-772-1184. And I'm happy to even do like a 30-minute strategy session on your plans for 2022. Make sure you like and subscribe, hit that alert, because we do these every single week. These are dropping these knowledge bombs.
Twice a week sometimes too.
Twice a week sometimes even. That's right. That's right. So make sure you guys like, subscribe, share, comment, and we look forward to hearing from you guys in 2022. So that's another episode of Getting Real in
You
the
in the
Field.
field.
Peace.